is everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking the Transformers Kingdom Wave 5 Autobot Slammer. Here he is on this really cool turntable here. I think he looks very cool. Before we take him, let's take a look at the packaging and collector card. So here he is in his tank mode, which does look very cool. Here he is in his robot mode with the arc and the background on the volcano. We turn this around again. Here he is, of course, with all the shots on Slammer, all of his separate pieces, the tank mode, the robot mode. He transforms into 20 steps. That's pretty much it for the packaging. And let's take a quick look at the collector card and finish up with a few details. So I got Black Arachnia again. I have about 3 of these by now, but that's okay. I still think this card is very cool. Here he is, like a dark Black Arachnia, or whatever you want to call her. Very cool. So that's pretty much it for the collector card and packaging. Just one last little note. I'm going to start with him on pipes, then I'm going to go to the tank mode, then robot mode. So that's pretty much it. Let's get into this review. Here we have Slammer on pipes, and I think it looks so cool. So as you can see, he is definitely well equipped, and of course he is quite a bit taller. But I do want to say one thing, a major compliment to this figure, Pipes and Slammer, is that he is not toppled over. He does handle the weight extremely well. Of course, he has a very big backpack, and he does have some added pieces onto his feet, and he has not fallen over at all, so I do have to put a very good compliment on that. Previous modulators I've had, they've just added so many pieces to the figure, they can't handle the weight, and it just topples over, or the arms can't hold it, and they just fall down and drag, which is a real shame, but this does handle the weight extremely well. I do also compliment with this modular mode. I think they put a lot more time into it. I think this is probably one of my favorite modular modes out of all the ones I have, and I have a lot of modulators and fossilizers. This is a very good one in my opinion. So let's quickly take a look at the details, and that'll be it for this modular form. So of course we do have this really nice chainsaw there, lots of silver and tread detailing. That looks really cool. We do have this really cool cannon there, which you could of course attach a plastic piece to if you wanted to. We do have these new plates on his feet, which just do add some height to him, which is really cool. Of course, back here are the missile pods. So he does have a pretty big backpack back here. This is part of the front section of the tank there, or the chest section of the robot mode, and we do have these big missile pods, which are the legs. But honestly, these pieces you can barely tell have a separate function, which is really cool. So again, handles the weight extremely well. Does make him a little bit back heavy, but he's not falling over at all. I'm just leaving him there right now, as you can see, and he's standing perfectly fine. So a very cool mode. So Pipes does come with 2 silver plain cannons. You can attach these to him if you wanted to. He does have his hands free, so if you wanted to, you could have him hold them. There's some ports on his legs that you can plug them there if you want to. I didn't put him on there because this is really the own separate mode. I don't think he needs his cannons. He's definitely well equipped. He has big missile pods, a big cannon, and a chainsaw. I think he's well equipped to go into battle. So that's pretty much it for this modular form. Let's get into transformation for the tank. So I'm going to take all the pieces off of him, get them all ready, and I'll show you the transformation. Now all the pieces are separated and ready for transformation. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with these tread pieces and that little piece right there. So here is a little port right there and a nice slot right there, and we're going to get that peg and this section right here, and that's just going to slide and peg right into place. So we're going to get the other side, do the same thing, and there we go. And now we can get these pieces right here, and you're going to want to tab them together. So as you can see, there is a tab and a slot, and a tab and a slot, and those will just connect right together. As you can see, there is pegs and ports, and those will just peg right into place like that. So there we go. And there we go. And now we can get to the arms. So unfortunately, these do not stay together very well, so I do apologize if they kind of come apart a few times. You're going to want to keep them together, and as you can see, there is 2 pegs and ports there, and that will just connect right together. And what you're going to want to do is bring these hinges down, and these will go right into those pegs right there. So just align them up like that. Apologies if that's a little wonky or fiddly. Sometimes it's a little hard, but there we go. There is that section right there. So you can get this cannon piece if you want to. You can connect it right now, or you can do it later. I'm going to do it later, just in case it gets in the way or anything. So now we can get the legs here. You can fold out this little piece right there. Do the same thing on the other side. And then there is a peg and a port right there, and that will just kind of wrap around and just plug right into place, just like that. As you can see, that just kind of fills in the side right there. This is what it used to look like, and now that's what it looks like that. Hopefully you can see that well. I'm going to lower the camera just a tiny bit so you can see it better. And of course, the way I'm doing this transformation, you could do it completely the other way. You could do the arms first or the legs first. Really doesn't matter. I'm just doing it like I like to do it. So do the same thing again. Plug that right into place. Just wrap it around the back like that. Kind of fit everything together. Make sure everything is nice and secure like that. So there we go. And now let's finish everything up. Again, unfortunately, the arms don't really like to stay together, but yeah, nothing really you can do about that. So now, let's finish things up. You can get these two ports there, and these two pegs right there. That will just connect together to finish, really, the front side of the tank. You can bring these sections down on that hinge that I showed you earlier, like that. And then, you can go under. You can get this waist section here, and there is a port and a peg. Plug that into place, rotate it around. Of course, you really don't have to, but I'm just doing it by the instructions, and you can just bring that whole assembly in like that and collapse that into place. Make sure it's collapsed so it can roll properly. Then, of course, the last thing you need to do, just get this big turret section or cannon section, just plug that right into place in that port. And there is the tank fully complete, and I think it looks very, very cool. Let's take a look at the detail. We have Slammer in his tank mode, and I think he looks very, very cool. Let's take a look at the details. So here is the side of the tank, and I think it looks very, very cool. Lots of silver and black for the treads. I think that looks really, really nice. Lots of paneling. We do have some ports all over, so you can plug in some weapons. Of course, he only really has one, this little tank piece right there. Of course, that becomes the turret for the tank. So not a lot of things to plug in from him, but of course, you could borrow some weapons from someone else. We do have a nice Autobot symbol there, done in red. Very, very cool. Continuation of that nice tread detailing. We do have, again, have some ports. On top, we do have the main turret section, which is nice, done in silver and white, and some more silver at the tip, and some more black. So, some complaints. There's really three. Two, I would say, wish I was fixed, but, one is kind of a nitpick. So one nitpick is it does not roll very well, of course. So it does have wheels at the front and back, but they're kind of stiff and it does not roll very well on this surface. You can kind of hear some rolling, but this is a cloth surface. I'm not really sure how well it does on a flat surface, so feel free to try that out. I probably will after this review, but that is, I would say, more of a nitpick. So the other complaints are it does not stay connected very well at all. Which does lead to another problem, in my opinion. It does not rotate very well. I do wish this turret section did rotate a full 360 like a typical tank. That is not, I would say, a huge problem, but I do wish it did. It does not rotate at all. Most tanks do, so I guess that's what we expect by now. Like with Megatron, of course, the previous Siege and Earthrise Megatron repaints and remolds have all had a full 360 rotating turret on top of the tank. But this is a new mold, so I guess I'm not that bothered by it, but some other people could be more than I am. I just wanted to point that out, that it does not rotate full 360. So that's pretty much it for complaints-wise. Overall, I think it's a very cute, small, little classic tank. It's nothing crazy, you know, there's no huge missiles or big rocket launchers just popped out of nowhere. It's just one little turret, and I think it looks very cool. Again, you could get some blaster pieces and plug them onto there and have him shooting out into the battlefield, which would look really, really cool. But I do think the main thing that should be fixed is this misaligning problem. I do wish these were connected better because they don't come on tab, just they are sometimes misaligned and a little bit wiggly when you mess around with it. So that is kind of unfortunate. So now, let's get into some comparison. Here we have a quick comparison between, of course, Slammer and Autobot Pipes. These are both in the Wave 5 Kingdom, and I think they're two very good figures. I will definitely review Pipes very soon. It might already be posted depending on when you're watching this review, so make sure you go check that out. I think these two figures are very, very good. I think I probably like Slammer a little bit more. That could just be, of course, he's a brand new mold, and this is a repaint, slight remold of the original version Huffer. But two very good figures, very classic, simple little vehicles, simple truck, and a very simple tank. I think they're both very cool alt modes, so very, very nice. Let me get one more comparison, one that I just want to bring out because I haven't let you guys know yet that I did get Select's Galvatron, which is a very cool figure. As you can see, this is a very big tank compared to the small, simple little Slammer tank there, but two very cool tanks. I'm just going to bring him up in front so I can show you better. There we go. But yeah, two very cool tanks, of course. More wacky colors on this one, gray and orange and red and purple. Really just a little bit of silver, white, and gray and black on this one. So very, very nice. Tank comparisons, very cool. So I'm just going to separate all the pieces on Slammer, and then we're going to get into the robot mode transformation. Now that we have all the pieces separated, let's get into transformation to the robot mode. Let's start with the leg. So what we're going to want to do is just collapse that in. Go back here and bring this section out. So there we go. Get the other leg and collapse this in. Go back here. Bring this out, just like that. And there are the legs complete. Now we can just get this crotch piece here, and there are pegs and ports on the legs, and that will just connect together, and pretty much essentially complete the bottom half of the robot. So there we have the bottom half. Let's finish the rest. So we're going to get this section here. You can go back here and bring the head up, rotate it around, and I think the head sculpt is done pretty good. Very simple, just a blue visor, a little bit of silver and white. I think it looks pretty good. Now what we can do is just, there is a peg and a port that will just plug together like that. And now we can get these shoulder pieces here. So there is a peg and a port, and that will just plug in, just like that. Do the same thing on the other side. There are the shoulders all incomplete. So now there is this section here. So this section can be used two ways. So these side pieces can become the chainsaw weapon, or of course it can be like this and you can store it on the back. So I will show the chainsaw weapon, how it's constructed in just a second. I'm going to store it on the back for now. So there is two ports and these pegs there, and that will just connect all to place, and there is the backpack fully complete and tabbed into place like that. Sometimes he does not stand completely flat, which is unfortunate, but for now that's okay. Now we can get the arms. So there is of course a peg and a port that will just plug right into place just like that. Do the same thing for the other arm, just slide that in, and then you can get this weapon here. Of course you could put it on either arm. I'm going to put on this one just because, like that. There we go. Move to the back, and you can get this piece right here, and there is two pegs, two ports, and that will just plug right on top. And there is Slammer in his robot mode, and I think he looks just absolutely amazing. Let's take a look at the details. We have Slammer in his robot mode. I think he looks very, very cool. Let's take a look at the details. So here we have the really cool weapon on his arm, some silver and black, done very, very cool. We do have some white for the rest of the arm, some black for that joints there. For the shoulder, we do have some black stripes and a little bit of gray, some gray for the other shoulder, of course, some part of the chest. That head sculpt is done very, very nice. Nice blue visor and whites, a little bit of silver where the cheeks or the mouth would be probably. We do have a nice Autobot symbol right there. We do have some black for the rest of the chest. For the crotch section, we do have some white and some black. Following down to the legs, we do have some more tread detailing kind of on the sides and stuff. We do have some more stripes of gray and black. And a lot of mechanical detailing, kind of some machine guns there or something. Looks very, very nice. Lots of detailing on the side. Looks very, very cool. More tread detailing on the back, which does look very cool. But yeah, overall a very, very cool figure. So accessory-wise or feature-wise, of course, he does have that really cool cannon there. So another feature you can do, of course, is the chainsaw. So if you just go back here, there is this big backpack section. You can just take this off. Sometimes it's a little tight. So how this is tabbed in, there is these ports, and there is these pegs there that will just peg right into place, of course. And now what you're going to want to do is just lower the camera so you can see better. You can take this little piece off. You can take these tread pieces off just like that. Those are also quite tight. And now what you're going to want to do is, there is a tab and a slot, and that will just tab together like that. You can now get this little adapter piece, or whatever you want to call it. There is pegs and ports, and that will just connect together so it's nice and secure. And now you can go to the side of the arm, and there is a peg and a port, and that will just peg right into place. And now he has his chainsaw, and I think that looks very, very cool. I really like this chainsaw. Definitely an accessory I'm so glad they put on there. I'm so glad that's an option. Very, very cool. Unfortunately, it is a little bit loose. It kind of flaps around. As you can see, it's quite easy to move, which is unfortunate. I do wish there was another tab at the top. There's only a tab at the bottom, so that is kind of unfortunate, but it's never really fallen off his arm. It's just a little bit loose, in my opinion. Now, what you can do with this other piece is just turn this around and just peg that back on, because you don't really need that piece anywhere else. Just peg that back on like that. So there is Slammer fully equipped, and I think that looks amazing. So one other nitpick with this figure that I have is, unfortunately, with the chest section here, there is this hinge here, which does not tab in. So you might have seen that happen several times in this review, where it just kind of slides up. There's really no section to tab, which is kind of sloppy in my opinion. I do wish that tabbed together. I really am kind of wondering, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's just a really tight connection. I'm just not tabbing in fully, but I really don't think I am. If you have this figure and I am, let me know if you have the same problem or if I'm just doing it wrong, but it's just not tabbing into place, which is kind of unfortunate. But overall, as a whole, this figure is very good. Probably one of my favorite modulators out of all of War for Galvatron trilogy. So now let's get a quick comparison with his wave mate, Pipes. Here he is with Pipes. So as you can see, they're pretty much the same size. I think Slammer is a little bit more bulky in size, but height-wise, they're pretty close. He's just a little bit bigger. But two very good figures. I think I do like Slammer a little bit more, just because, of course, he's a brand new mold. He has a lot of nice features. He is just a repaint remold, but still a very good figure that I will review very soon. Here we have another quick comparison with Slammer, of course, and Airwave and Ironworks. So a lot of people are wondering, is Ironworks and Slammer any way similar? So there is some similarities. Down really to the crotch and the legs, they're quite similar in sculpt. As you can see, if you have this figure, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, there's really not that many similarities. The head sculpt, of course, completely different. The transformation completely different. He transforms into a ramp station. He transforms into a tank. This one transforms into a boat. I did bring out Airwave because there is some slight similarities in the leg design for the ankle tilt. It is kind of similar between these two figures. Also, he is a very good modulator. Highly recommend. It's probably my favorite Decepticon modulator out of the entire War for Galvatron trilogy, and probably Slammer is my favorite Autobot modulator out of the entire War for Galvatron trilogy. Ironworks is a good figure, just I do wish there was some tighter joints on him. That is a complaint. And the station, the big tower, is not my favorite. But three very good modulators, highly recommend. The greatest thing is, these three are very good figures, and they are all mainline. Both of these are from Earthrise, and this one is from Kingdom. Highly recommend all of them. So, down to structure, they are completely different, but they do share some similarities with storing of the weapons. As you can see, they both do, all three have sort of the same weapon storage. He attaches to the hand. He does the same. You can attach it with the crane piece or the gun on his shoulder. Same for Airwave, and of course same for Slammer. So modulators, they do have some stuff in common, but sculpt-wise between these three, they're very different. So just want to let you know, a lot of people were wondering, Ironworks, Slammer, any similar at all? Not really at all. So, very good robot mode. Let's get into Articulation for Slammer, and that's pretty much it. We'll finish up with some final thoughts. Now let's get into Articulation. I did take the accessories off just so they wouldn't be in the way. I do apologize if it's a little bit messy. He has some loose joints here and there, so I do apologize if any pieces fall off. Let's get right into it. Let's start at the top. So the head is on a ball joint, so it can rotate all the way around. It can hinge down and up. There is also a plate, so it can move back. For the arm, it can rotate all the way around. It can hinge out, and there is a swivel. There is an elbow joint. He does not have any hand articulation. I'm just going to move the arms out of the way so they're not in the way for the articulation for the legs. So there is a swivel fully at the waist. There is a hinge there. There is a full split for these hinges here. There is a swivel at the leg. There is a bend. There's an ankle pivot to a very good degree, and it can kick that far back and that far forward. So that's pretty much it for Articulation. I could, of course, probably find a little bit more. This is a modulator, so there is a lot of hinges and pieces that can be removed. Of course, they can break into, like, 10, 16 different pieces, so pretty good articulation for a modulator. I think that's pretty much it for this main section of the review. Let's get into the final thoughts. Let's start with the robot mode. So overall, love the accessories, the really cool cannon that I can attach to the arm, the really cool chainsaw, love that. I do wish it was a little bit tighter attached to the arm. It does kind of wiggle around. It doesn't fall apart, but it is a little bit loose. I love how you can disconnect the chainsaw and it can store on the back. That's really, really nice for people who don't want it on his arm. Very, very cool. Love the design of the robot mode. Very simple. Lots of stripes of black and gray and silver. Looks really good. Like the head sculpt, also very similar. It's simple. It's very G1 aesthetic-like. You know, just very simple. Really nice blue for the visor. Very nice silver for the mouth and white for the helmet. I do really, really like that. I do wish there was some tighter joints on this figure. Of course, modulators do have a tendency to have some loose joints, of course, because they break into a lot of pieces, so that does require a lot of pieces to be separated and fall apart, of course, so that is kind of unfortunate. That is a tendency for modulars to have very loose joints, but I don't think it's that bad. There's definitely worse modulators with very loose joints, like Six Gun. I have that one, very, very loose joints on that one, but overall a very cool robot mode. Transformation between robot mode to tank mode is very simple, of course. You just rip them apart and just kind of reattach them in a different way. I think it's really fun, very, very fun. Definitely for younger kids, that's very fun. You just rip them apart, you know, just put them back together. Very creative, very playful. Tank mode is very simple. I really do like it. Love the tread detailing. Unfortunately, no 360 spin on the turret section. That is unfortunate. Of course, that is kind of a given assumption for tanks these days because there are so many Megatrons out there that have a full 360 spin on the tank, so we kind of assume that's for every tank now, but I'm not that disappointed. It is only a deluxe figure, so still a very cool tank, but, you know, not a ton of crazy features. It does not roll as well because, of course, this is a cloth surface. Also, the wheels are a little bit tight, so you could probably put some kind of oil or something on there if you wanted them to be looser so it could roll better. I have not tried to roll it on a flat surface yet, so it could roll very good on a flat surface. So if you have this figure, please do try and let me know how it is in the comment section below. So overall, a very cool tank. Love the details. Of course, you could get a blaster piece and attach it to the end of the barrel and have a really cool explosion effect. So very, very nice. Just a small, cute little tank. Nothing too crazy. Transformation from the tank to the modular mode, very simple again, just rip it apart and just kind of reform it into a bunch of different pieces. I think it looks really good on pipes. I think they did really good on balancing out the weight, because some other figures, modulars and fossilizers, they've balanced all the weight onto like one arm or just one side of the figure, like the back or the front, to where it will just, you know, lean forward or back or to the side, and it will just like drag at the arm. So I think they did really good with this one. It does seem like they took more time on the modular form and didn't just slap stuff together. I think it looks really good in my opinion. One of my favorite modes so far of all the modulators so far, and fossilizers. I think I probably will do a modular slash fossilizer ranking video soon. If you want me to do that, let me know. I will probably be doing a lot of ranking videos soon because I have not done one in a while. I don't think I've ever done one for the War for Cybertron trilogy, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I also do have Blaster ordered. It should come in about a few days. Also, I do have Select's Lift Ticket Legacy coming. Very, very exciting. I probably will do a live unboxing on Blaster or Lift Ticket. Let me know in the comment section below which one I should do a live stream of. I don't think they will come the same day because they are from different sellers on eBay, so that is unfortunate. But if they do come the same day, I will, of course, open them both on the live stream. So I will let you know what I do very soon. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.